I'm going to speak to you about different strategies to invest in private equity. Let me give you my introduction first. I am Arul Mehra. I work with a private equity firm based in Mumbai, and I've been doing this for more than 15 years now. So, private equity is a very broad term, which basically, in a sense, means investing in private companies. Now, as you would have studied in your MBA classes, there are two kinds of companies. Those that are listed on the stock markets, where there is a very wide shareholding, lots of investors, those are called public companies. And there are companies which are more closely held within a few shareholders, those are called private companies. So when you invest in private companies, that activity generally is called private equity. That term encompasses many different strategies. Some of them are like venture capital, private equity, buyout, distress investing, and these are all various different stages and ways to invest and make money for your investors in this profession. Uh, I'll take you through each of them one by one. The first one, and we can tie to the growth of the company when you're just about starting a company. Uh, and the first few checks that you receive, the first initial funding that you receive for the company is typically called seed funding. And that kind of investing is called seed investing or angel investing. Of late, there are a few organized seed investors and angel investors who do this in a very production oriented way. These are called accelerators or incubators. Uh, there is a little bit of a difference between angel investors and the incubators. The angel investors would typically be friends and family or some senior people from the same industry who know the industry very well and who know you very well and trust you. So they would give you a small amount of money for a negotiated stake. Whereas some of these incubators would have standard documentation, they would have a fixed amount for a fixed percentage, and they would just roll out these term sheets. They would do pitch days where 15 to 20 companies come and present, and then select one or two out of those to invest. And then they will nurture you and make you attend some sort of classes or workshops to help you navigate the whole entrepreneurship ecosystem. So that's absolute first stage, which is the seed stage that we call. After the company has grown a little bit, it's still trying to find its product market fit. It's still experimenting. Uh, then what you call pre-series A investors, which is another class of venture capital investors who come into play, and they will see, okay, there is some amount of customer traction for some of the ideas that the company has. They will try to focus you onto a particular track where they say, okay, this particular idea looks promising, and then they will give you some money to scale that to the next level. Uh, then come the VCs, which is and they're the series that the way you say seed is the first, then you come at the pre-series A sort of investors, then you come to series A investors, and then every series after that is a different alphabet. That's how they classify. So till the company, once the company has found a product market fit, typically gets a Series A kind of funding where the company then hires more people. The venture capital investors have a lot of good networks where they help the companies hire, fine tune their strategies. They help with installation of new technologies, that the companies have the systems and processes to grow without making mistakes. They put in governance structures. They typically take a board seat, and they will have some amount of rights on uh, governance, auditing, compensation, fundraising, and later exit of the company. So that activity continues for a while. Once the company becomes profitable, that's when that stage is typically called the private equity. Although the entire thing is investing in private companies, that particular stage people refer to as classic private equity, where you get growth capital. Private equity typically comes in when the economics are established, your customer is now well identified, and you know what to scale. The basic unit to scale is now understood, that this is the kind of sales guy I want, this is the kind of factory or operations or technology I'm going to put in, and these are the kind of customers I'm going to target. And this is the kind of economics I'll have on a per unit basis. Uh, the private equity check sizes are larger than venture capital check sizes. The kind of skills required there, because you're not now trying to understand whether this will work or not. This works. The focus is more on scaling. It's so the skill sets that are involved there are around standardizing the processes, putting in more governance, looking at consolidation opportunities. Consolidation means basically acquiring another company in the similar space or an adjacent space, which improves your product or service or increases the value of the company. Uh, they would typically sit on the board and guide the founders on the strategy, and then they will help design the company for a eventual IPO or a strategic sale. Now, within private equity, there are 2, 3 different kinds of strategies. One is what I described, a growth equity. A company is growing; it needs capital to grow, and the investors then engage with you to give you that right amount of capital. The other ways where people make money in private equity is something called buyout. In certain cases, when the company has scaled, a large buyout investor, the likes of KKR or Apollo or Carlyle, they will come and say, okay, you guys have scaled this, you created a lot of value, now let me buy out this entire company. Now, buyouts are also 2 or 3 types. One which is based on a leverage is called a leverage buyout. And leverage buyout, what will happen is if a company is worth 100, the buyout company will say, okay, I'll put $20 of my own, and the remaining 80 I will borrow from the banks. And over time, I will try to expand the profitability of this company, expand the EBITDA, maybe take out some unprofitable businesses from this, and repay this debt. And once I repay the debt, the value of my equity expands because the enterprise value is also expanded, and the portion of equity in that entire enterprise value is also expanded. The second way they do it is they also what is called distressed buyouts, where they will say, okay, this company has 3 or 4 different businesses, and this typically happens when the businesses are matured. Businesses tend to go into sometimes unrelated activities. There may be some parts which are growing faster than the others. So what they do is they will buy a company and they say, okay, let me strip out all the unproductive assets of this company. Like this business now doesn't make sense. Let's sell it off. Let's get that cash and invest in what we are good at and what is generating a higher return going forward. So that kind of investing is called distressed investing. Distressed investing also can take a hue of credit investing. Credit investing means that suppose a company is going through a bad phase, it has a lot of debt on its balance sheet, and it's unable to service that. So its debt starts trading at a discount. You can buy, if it had issued, say, 100 rupees worth of bonds or $100 worth of bonds, maybe the investor can buy them for $60 and then renegotiate with the company to say, okay, for the $60, I will convert, since you are unable to pay this, I'm going to convert this into 60% equity in the company. I'm just taking an example. And with that, they will take control of this company. And they've got this company cheaper than they would have otherwise bought a control situation in a company that was not under stress. This is called sort of distressed buyout kind of investing. So these are the different types. Now, in terms of the skill sets required and the kind of roles that you typically encounter in this are: one, at the senior level, you would need good networks, that is to source the deals and also to good reference checks. Networks are very important in a private equity business. It's a very competitive market. There are hundreds and hundreds of private equity funds competing in the market. And you would need some sort of preferred access if you were to access the best deals and access them at the right price. So to do that, you network with the banks, you network with the whole accounting community, consulting community. You go and speak at different forums of industries to create branding for your firm, to create some sort of thought leadership for your firm. So when a firm in that industry is trying to raise capital, they approach you. The second thing that you require here is judgment. Private equity is basically a business in which you're trying to figure out how will this business do 5 years down the line when you want to exit that. Right? So you need to project that how this industry is going to behave, how the customers are going to behave, what kind of customer behavior is you're seeing evolving. How are the and you must have studied these Porter's 5 forces in your college. How are the suppliers industries going to evolve? How is the buyer's bargaining power changing? What are the different technological changes happening? So all that knowledge gathering, and that is part of judgment. So there's networks required, then you need to have judgment about the industry, you need to build that over time. And the third thing that you require is an understanding of price value, which is, okay, here is an asset which is going to grow at 15% every year. It's got a good quality management. Now, what do I pay for this asset? Right. So that you may get the best asset, but if you overpay for it, you will still lose money. So these three things, the networks, the judgment, and price value, at least at a senior level, are very, very essential. At entry level, there are very various paths that you can get into this industry. You can get consulting, where you get early exposure to senior managements and different industries. There also you are researching industries and trying to form views. Some of the skill sets are very similar. You can go through investment banking, where you learn skills around negotiation, around deal making, around documentation, which are also very essential. Or you could take an industry-led approach, where you have worked in a particular industry, you understand it extremely well, and then you go to a private equity fund after 5 or 10 years to say that, okay, I am ready to invest in this particular industry because I know it better than anyone else who's looking from outside in. So all three paths are possible. So there is no preference one over the other, and it's up to the individual's journey as to how he wants to take that. In terms of uh, longevity, or in terms of thinking about building a career in this, private equity careers tend to be around small teams. These are not firms which will have hundreds and thousands of people. Even if they have, they will have desks which are 2 to 3 member or 5 to 10 member desks. So having good interpersonal skills and an ability to work in teams which are small, I think becomes very important. You also tend to interact with a lot of different kinds of intermediaries and company promoters, guys who start companies. There are lots of different kinds of personalities you encounter there. Sometimes you have to deal with regulators, tax people, lawyers. So you need to have this ability to work with different kinds of people and work very cohesively within a very small team. The other thing that is very different about this business is that uh, you would typically do very few, maybe do 1 or 2 deals a year. You will see a lot of deals, but you would typically do 1 or 2 deals a year. And over a course of 4 to 5 year career, you would have made maybe 5 to 6 investments. And if some of them don't do well, sometimes it becomes very challenging from a just personal emotional management perspective. So you need to have that emotional maturity about learning from mistakes, about learning from your successes as well, what went right, and ability to live with your choices that you make. So it's not a daily high pressure job, but it's a over a long term, it's a very involved sort of journey. And lastly, in terms of preparing for this kind of a career, you need to have a very strong, when you're in college especially, you need to have a very strong grounding in financials, uh, how to value companies, how to read financial statements, uh, and if you're applying right out of college into these kind of careers, how to make financial models. Uh, Trying to read and understand about different kinds of industries would definitely be a positive. Trying to have a more wider worldview about different topics obviously helps, and eventually it's a very rewarding industry if you join it and do well. I think its rewards are uh, uh, at par with any other successful person in any other successful industry. So that's my brief introduction to private equity careers and private equity businesses. Wish you all the best in your careers and your journeys. Good luck.